what went wrong with our love, although it was so strong. And as I stood,
You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're back. We are 16 minutes late. It's 3:16. It's me, Dick Schissler, hanging out with trmorephotos.com. trmorephotos.com, how you doing?
Doing great.
Doing great. It's
Thawed
another
out.
beautiful day in Montgomery County. I know everyone's still trying to recover from yesterday's impromptu ice freeze, but the ice wasn't even on the road.
That was strange.
It was really strange, but it brought some great photos. That's one thing I'm seeing as Facebook being very great is you're seeing a lot of photographers kind of there. I saw Ansel, if you follow Ansel on the Facebook,
Right.
he posted some photos, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good, and I think especially in downtown Conroe, that was one of the neatest scenes. Is every single tree I saw had a little outlining of ice, so it reminded me of like a kid's cartoon book or something like that you'd see in a claymation movie or something. So
Very unusual.
very unusual weather because it didn't freeze anywhere else on the ground, but all the trees and everything. And then also when we stepped in the grass, it cracked. And that was kind of cool. And it didn't really fit because that stinks. Because next month is our nature theme. So if we did nature this theme for March, it would have been a cool little day to go take photos.
You just never know what you're gonna run into.
Yeah,
with
so because
this weather.
If you guys didn't know, you're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed, which is Montgomery County's photography and film radio show here at 3 p.m. every Wednesday. It's me, Dick Schissler, your host. I'm the amateur photographer, and then we have the professional trmorephotos.com over here. That is his name. Don't let him tell you different. He doesn't have any other name. It's trmorephotos.com. And if you didn't guess, that's the website that he puts his name on.
That's it.
So he's pretty lucky. And our theme, if you didn't know by last week's show, our theme this month is portrait photography. And we have a lot of cool things lined up. We have some things in the works. Hopefully we get some models and towards the end of the month. And then maybe we'll be broadcasting live from on location somewhere exotic to where you do portrait photography. Because a lot of people, portrait photography doesn't always have to entail inside of a studio that has black curtains everywhere and a bunch of soft boxes. Portrait photography can be somewhere else, like outside, especially with, a lot of families do a lot of grass photography where, they throw the kid in the blue bonnets and they're like, take some pictures, and then there's ants everywhere, and it's a great story to take home for everyone else to listen to. But then there's also my favorite, of course, the swimsuit editions. That's photography, right? That's portrait photography. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so.
Would you say swimsuit editions are the greatest portrait photography?
Absolutely.
trmorephotos.com?
Yes, absolutely.
So we're going to take little different ideas throughout the month, talk about portrait photography, because there's a lot of cool tricks, I know, for the amateur side to make your photos literally 10 times better. And it costs you practically nothing. Visit to Home Depot. You spend $100, you pretty much almost have your own studio that looks good, but and there's always room to improve. Of course, that's that. You always have to have that mentality when it comes to photography. There's always room to improve. But see Tom over here, he's used to a fancy studio. But also what it does, it makes him more efficient. I bet you can get people in, herd them like cows, in and out, taking great photos, right?
Yeah, and you can go down to Lowe's and pick up some lighting, like construction lighting, or just these little dishes with put a 100-watt bulb in there, and $10 here, $10 there, and put them on a stand or attach them to a piece of furniture and just set up your own lighting.
I always like those tripod. I guess I don't know what they call them over at Home Depot. Basically, they're like 15-foot extendable poles.
Right.
And then you just get those. You get those heavy-duty clamps, and you can clamp lights to it. You can clamp cloth to it. So if you want to make a quick backdrop,
right,
you can do it. I mean,
just use a sheet.
Yeah, just use a sheet, and then you can also use sheets to. I mean, there's actually a lot of stuff you can do. We'll get more into that. Like today, we're going to talk more about lighting. So that's going to be in our second segment. We're going to talk about lighting, and then I think we're going to talk a little bit about reflectors afterwards, because it's important to understand the basics of lighting when you're shooting portrait photography, especially what you want your result to be. Because it's always nice to have that soft glow, but then it's also nice to get a little bit artistic with it and have the shadows and see what kind of artistic view you want at the end of the photo. Because everyone can do a yearbook picture. Those are good for portraits. And you have any good yearbook stories?
Not really. I haven't gotten into that.
No?
Not yearbook.
No?
It's just too boring.
One of my favorite things was
shots.
one of my buddies, he always without fail, right? Because you get in line. Basically, if everyone's been to school and you have your yearbook day, your yearbook photo, or annuals, some people call them annuals. But when you have your photo day, your class gets called, and you're literally in line for a while. Oh, I am, because my last name is Schisler. So I waited, I was basically towards the end of the line because it's all alphabetical order. And this guy in front of me, without fail, would always sneak into the restroom and mess up his hair and come back, and he would have the goofiest photos. And every year, the funny joke is he'd do it every year, and you didn't really notice it until you pull out all your yearbooks and you see the same guy every time. And I'm talking about he'd give a goofy face, he'd stick out his tongue, but he would try to be serious. So the guy, because some photographers be like, no, I'm not taking a photo. So he would kind of like, creak his neck back, like,
just get something in there weird.
Yeah, just try I just have a weird smile. I don't have any feeling on the right side of my face. Something like that. And I always go, man, your parents are so pissed off at you taking photos like this. And I can't imagine being the photographer dealing with kids that do this all the time. Because, we don't care. I know my parents never really cared for the photos. They take pictures of me anyway. So they're like, well, why do we... Yeah, it's really funny in our family. But
a little tip. If you are shooting kids like 6, 7 years old or younger, get yourself a rubber ball and bounce it up and down and start throwing it back and forth and start chatting with them. It gets their attention and gets their head off.
Well, that's another show. We'll talk about points when you're handling models, because those kids are models. Treat everyone like a model.
But just mom, do that. Try that, and get them distracted. But just a rubber ball.
Anything else going on? We can't get any much detail. This is the intro segment. trmorephotos.com. You can't start talking about something specific unless it's funny. Like, when you go get your school portraits done. You don't have any funny stories? Would you do that if someone came to you and said, we'll give you X amount of dollars if you could shoot 5,000 kids in over a week?
I'll probably say I have a sty or something.
You would lie about it?
Yeah. I just wouldn't be available.
No?
No.
I think I want to say there should be kind of like an understood rule of becoming a photographer, and that would be one of the classes to graduate. In order to graduate, you have to take that class.
Torture.
Well, no, really, because I actually, what's cool is as a photographer, you always sit there and I always look at other people's equipment. I'm a big creeper when it comes to that. Like if I'm sitting down and I'm on a date and someone walks by and it's like, are you looking at that lady? I'm like, no, I'm looking at that 5D Mark II you have. What kind of lenses do you have? What's going on over there? So I'm talking about that. I'm never looking at a lady. I'm checking out the lenses.
Right.
And then if I get enough courage, I'll go talk to the guy. But no. So when I'm sitting there getting my photo taken, I always wonder what kind of cameras they use. And today, I wonder what they do today. What kind of setup do you think those guys have today
for portrait?
Like shotgun portraits or machine gun portraits, because they're just literally sitting you down. They don't do white balance. They don't do any of that. It's like
right. They have everything set up with a big board, and they have a monitor, and actually they can take the camera up and down hydraulically, and it's pretty sophisticated.
So you've seen it?
Next. Next.
Because I only remember when I remember it was maybe like 2 soft boxes and a tripod. That was it. And the guy would just kind of like tilt it down, tilt it up, and he said, "Big smile, big smile, big smile," and that was 3 pictures right there, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I bet they even attach it to a computer.
Yeah, and they just see it all right there in color, and they know exactly what they're getting, and process it out, and get them out of there with product in hand.
Because you know what's funny, and I didn't even think about this. This is gonna be good. We should get the DMV in, because they take excellent driver's license photos.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I think when I got my first driver's, actually this is my first picture of my driver's license, is when they first started doing digital, and they're doing like webcam kind of. It's like here's a little camera sitting, like they had to like tight box the thing behind me. I had to get like right in the square. If I was a little bit over, they wouldn't let me. They had to redo it and everything. And I wonder what they do today. Maybe we can do that. We can do a live broadcast from the DMV and interview everybody. So you ready to get your picture taken? Because some people take it serious. Because it's like, oh, I got to get dolled up. I mean, I was wearing, I think it was like after school, and I was gym, and I was just kind of like, ugh. But some people, they take pride in their driver's license photos.
It's not possible to have a good-looking driver's license photo.
I've seen them.
I have never.
Because that's how I test my ladies.
by their driver's license.
Yeah, it's like, well, if I want to get to know them, let's see how serious they take their lives. Like, let's see the license that you show people if they ask for your identification, because that's what it's for. It's meant for, like, let me see your ID. So you want to have a good picture, and that's what I like about mine, because I don't look the same apparently. Because every time I give especially when I had longer hair, I almost not on a regular basis. I almost wasn't allowed to either purchase alcohol and go into the room that was guarded by.
Because it doesn't even look like.
Because they don't think it would look like me, and I go, well, what do you want me to do? You can scan it. I'm kind of stuck. That's the only form of ID I have on me right now. And they're like, well, like, and then they start asking me what my driver's license number is. I'm like, I don't know what my driver's license number is, but I do know my address and the date I was born. But no, yeah. So I mean, I'm surprised they don't require you to update that. I mean, do they?
Update.
Let me see your driver's license. Let's go. I showed you mine.
Every 10 years.
Is it every 10 years you get to go in there? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm interested now. But no, I mean, it's really cool because you talk about portrait photography, and probably the number one thing people think of is family photos. It's like, oh, let's go deal with this guy with the puppet, and he's going to sit here and make everyone, really uncomfortable. Let's just get this over with. Because I know I was the cameraman for our family photos, for our family gatherings, and basically it was on average, it was about 42 of us. So imagine trying to get 42 people crammed into a space, and then I had to push the time release, and I'm like, all right, guys, 15 seconds. And it was impossible because I think there was like 20-something nieces and nephews involved, and they're little, and you give them 15 seconds, they're going to do a lot more than to just sit here. They're going to be they're going to be the other end. One of my favorite memories is we were doing it, and then at the time, one of the people from the hotel was kind of like letting us be in this area that we're not supposed to be in because it was really pretty. But I was like, oh, can we please just take a photo here? We'll only be there for 10 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. And you can have someone, you can watch us. And then I even offered, I was like, hey, man, do you mind taking the photo? Make it go by a lot faster. And I was thinking, basic framing. He didn't know how to frame. He literally shifted it to the left. He cut out some people. And I'm like, I don't think the man ever took a photo before. And what was really funny is since at the time you could see him, so I checked him, and I didn't want to be rude. And so I was trying to figure out a way, and I was like, oh, hey, you so-and-so on the far right, you guys didn't smile. Let's do this real quick one more time. So I took the photo, and I always spend, at the end of each year we do this, I always spend about 4 hours photoshopping everyone's perfect face in. Because there's always I took 10 pictures, and every other picture has good faces on every other person. So it's never perfect. So I just merge it. So everyone's perfect in the final print. And
that's a lot of work.
Well, what's funny is I like doing that kind of stuff, and especially if I get to do two, because what I did, I'm such a jerk. What I did is when people get divorced and all that kind of stuff, I take them out, and then I send so for example, my brother gets divorced. I update the photo, and I send it out to everybody. And I'm like, hey, I forgot to tell you I updated the photo. And then they looks exactly the same. And, the email chain list, and all of a sudden, oh, so-and-so's missing. I get it now. And I'm like, yep. And after, because people don't stay together, and if you have 45 people hanging out, actually it's not 45, I think it's 38. But someone's going to get divorced. I mean, the odd chances of that. And then you also want to add people, because I add people too.
You could put the pet dog there where the wife used to be or something.
So, I added me a couple times because I was always taking the photo.
Right.
So I was always wearing, because we always wear the same shirt. That's how silly we all are. We all wear the same colored shirt and
color coordinate.
Yeah, and then so I'd have to do I had to do my own little portrait in my own room so I could take and be able to Photoshop me into the photos, because you always got to have dick in the photos. So I can't deny people.
That's right.
But so is there any other? We're talking about portrait photography. I thought it was good. So we can even go more. We're going to talk more about the second segment, I think, about different types of portrait photography.
Let's do it.
I think there's so many cool. I've brought two ones, school and DMV. That's great portrait photography. I bet no one thinks about. No one. I bet you think no one thinks about that. Do you think about that when someone says portrait photography?
Not really.
I mean, especially the DMV, they don't care.
That's
there's
right.
not light. I mean, the lighting's probably hasn't been replaced, so everything's flickering. And no wonder everyone has these horrible photos. So what we need to do is we need to get together with everyone listening. We need to figure out how we can improve the DMV photo taking process, and we can demand it. Isn't that the whole point of the government? You complain, and they're supposed to do something about it.
Change the world.
Imagine that the guy in front of you probably has some real world case, hey, we need money to support this cancer research, and then you got me. Hey man, we need better photography equipment to take these photos because I need to look good when you arrest me. I need to look good. I mean, that's just the way it's got to go. But But yeah, so I think when we come back, we're going to talk more about lighting. And then I think it's important to understand the different scenarios in portrait photography when you're using lighting, because I think when you're in an environment to do portrait, the most number one thing you got to focus on is control. You got to be able to control the environment. That way you don't have to do a lot of post. Because back in the day, you didn't really get to do a lot of post, and you kind of just trusted yourself and your basic skills.
And what is post?
Post editing.
Oh yeah, editing.
Post editing. Because I know a lot of people do. I mean, a lot of people use Photoshop.
Post means afterwards, right?
Yeah. Yes. trmorephotos.com. Jeez. But yeah, we'll be back. We're gonna listen to some little break stuff like PSAs and stuff like that. But you're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed with trmorephotos.com, and I, Dick. We're here every Wednesday at 3. Make sure to like us on Facebook to see our archives and all that good stuff. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Run away, run away.
The Conroe Art League is a nonprofit entity promoting the visual arts in Montgomery County. They've evolved over the last 49 years into one of the premier artist groups in the greater Houston area. The Conroe Art League is now permanently housed in the 100-year-old recently remodeled Madeley building in historic downtown Conroe. Exhibits of local artists, sculptors, and painters are changed periodically in the downstairs gallery with admission free to the public. Art classes and demonstrations in a variety of media are provided in the upstairs studios. The mission of the Conroe Art League is to encourage artistic development and cultivate an appreciation of the visual arts through education, exhibitions, and community outreach. For more information, call area code 936-756-9572 or visit their website at www.conroeartleague.com.
Hello, this is Dennis Nelson, inviting you to come with me through the doorway of imagination and into the theater of the mind. The Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour presents a play every Saturday night at 7 p.m. on Lone Star Internet Radio. Be it drama or comedy, thriller or love story, every exciting episode is carefully chosen straight from the golden age of radio and performed live by talented actors, musicians, and sound effects crew. Every sound you hear will be 100% live and homemade. Anything can happen. So join us, please, every Saturday night at 7 p.m. for the Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The riders in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with riders who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a rider, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
Yeah. No, nothing from you, TR Moore. trmorephotos.com is now officially dead at 3:35. You're listening to Aperture and Shutter's feed with me, trmorephotos.com, and Dick Schisler. I'm not trmorephotos. I'm Dick Schisler. You're trmorephotos.com, right?
That's me.
He's alive. There we go. We're talking about film and photography here on Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're here every Wednesday at 3 p.m. This month's theme is...
Talking about lighting.
Theme, Tom. We're not on the same page. Portrait photography. And in today's show, we're talking about lighting. Come on. Tom, look at me. What's going on? Do you want to talk about it on the air?
No, I'm good.
No,
good.
I kind of want to end what we were talking about is different funny ideas. And if you're listening and you have funny ideas about portrait photography, because a lot of people, think about mug shots. I've never been arrested, but I wouldn't mind knowing what goes into taking a mug shot. I imagine it's just like the DMV. And that's portrait photography, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you there's someone out there who takes that job real serious.
Yeah,
He's the mug shot taker.
I just don't know how practical that is for how people would apply it. But
because if you commit another crime in the future, then you need a good photo that gets all your features down.
That's true. Yeah, if you have like an eye removed or something, or you have your nose taken off, and you need a reference.
Right. And you watch all the crime shows. It's like, I found a fingerprint. Okay, let's scan the fingerprint and put it in the system. You saw the photos. Those photos are important. I'm surprised they don't make you shave and everything because they need to see what your full face is.
Nah, they can't make me shave.
But call in 936-647-3776. I'm definitely going to get a mugshot. We got to get a mugshot guy in. We got to. Now, I want to ask him, because I bet he has the crazy, because you're sitting there, man, this is a great idea, because you got to think he does the complete opposite of what people do for kids. Like, he's trying to control these people, and most of the time they're drunk, so they're trying to take a picture of a drunk dude, and you can't keep his eyes open. I think about that Justin Bieber. I bet he was a lot of fun taking pictures of. He's all smiling, like being probably a jackbutt. Come on, think about that. You don't think that's good? That's good photography.
Yeah, well, you're getting too exotic for me. I can't follow this.
You know what I'm talking about, right? When you get in trouble, I don't know the process, but they take a picture of you and you hold like the sign.
Right.
I bet there's some, and they have historical photos of that kind of stuff. Like you go type in Nick Nolte. I think like his number 5 image is his mugshot.
Yeah, well, they've got him of Johnny Cash too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have Bill Gates.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates, that's a famous photo. He's all smiling because he was speeding in his car or something like that. And, you don't think historical photos, mugshots, that has no relevance to the photography world?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to tell me, Tom?
I just don't.
You don't respect
it's just
it
not
like
practical. Who's gonna use it, and what are you gonna do with it?
You use it for journalism? Use it for home use? I would have my mugshot. If I ever get arrested, I'm definitely asking for the mugshot.
So you'd like to have Willie Davis on your wall?
No, I'd like to have myself.
Hung over.
No, if it was me, I think that would be great. Like, think about if you go to someone's home, and you're like, what is this picture? Is this a mugshot? I was like, yeah, that's when I got arrested. And they're like, what?
That's your proud moment.
Well, it's a conversation starter. You don't think it's a most people aren't going to be really proud of that, but I think if I was going to get arrested, I deserve it, probably.
They're not going to give it to you, probably.
And no, you're on a database.
Oh, okay.
Come on, it's public photos.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm telling you, that's a whole world of photography no one knows about, and no one probably cares but me.
No, they don't. That's why I don't know what to say.
Think about that though, and think about like the Splashtown people taking your photo. They don't care. We need to get some awareness out about portrait photography and how to take proper Splashtown photos for your season pass. Am I right?
Okay. No. Yeah. I'm just having a hard time following you.
Okay.
What about shooting with clouds or in the sun?
With lighting.
Or clouds and the sun.
Not lightning.
Or reflectors.
He's trying to get back to the real topic.
Yeah, I just got to get back to reality
What's wrong with... I think that's funny. 936-647-3776. If you're interested in portrait photography, you got to ask the guy why you're getting your mugshot taken. Like, how long you doing this?
Doing it for business, or doing it for your website, or doing it for some other reason.
Maybe that's what we should do.
Because you got a DWI.
Let's do a mock mugshot portrait. Can we do that? Can we give you in a jumpsuit and see if we can make it look real? We have to make it look like a mugshot, not like a good portrait. I'm talking like horrible lighting, because you're in a jail, and they never take care of those buildings because it's just filth everywhere.
Right.
And because every mugshot I see, it's what is it, fluorescent lighting, and it just looks bad. You know what I'm talking about? Have you never seen a mugshot?
Of course I have.
And
Everybody
the lighting's always bad. They always have a dark line under their eyes because right above them is the light, and
usually just got beat up, or they're
and their complexion's
drunk,
wrong. The
or-
makeup artist
yeah.
wasn't there that day,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they look awful,
right.
and the camera is always awful. It's not like imagine taking like a 22 megapixel picture, high res of a mugshot. That'd be
Okay,
so
we're
cool.
changing the subject. I hope.
Well, no, I was trying to get to the lighting. I was trying to connect to what you wanted to talk about. I can't. You're no fun.
Okay, so what is the best environment? Should you shoot in a cloudy environment? Is that good for photos for people, or would you rather shoot with a lot of sun and a lot of glare? What would you say, Dick?
It really depends. I would say where you are on the earth, because
Okay, right outside your studio.
right outside my studio, I would rather do it behind the studio because we have buildings blocking things, and you can also always control the light by using reflectors.
Shadows. By
and-
using shadows.
Yeah, using shadows, reflectors, and also I've used sheets before,
Right.
like light colored sheets that allow some light to give some soft light to the face, and it disperses it
Right.
across the body.
Diffuses the light.
Yeah,
right?
diffuses the key word right there for
Right.
that one. I think well, it also depends on the person or the person you're taking a picture of, because if it's like 100 degrees outside and there's no cloud, it's gonna suck.
Right.
It's gonna be a horrible shoot, but you got to get it done.
So that's why we want to shoot early in the morning.
Early in the morning, cloudy. Not so much clouds. I think if it's 50-50, it'd be fine. Well then, no, this is a big deal. I wish I can't control the weather, Tom. I don't know.
Exactly. So
You just adjust to it.
yeah, you adjust, and then what about if the sun is really direct?
Then you control it by using diffusers, and then you
How about just using a reflector and putting
Or
it
a
over
reflector,
their
yeah.
head
Yeah.
and creating a shadow that way?
Yeah.
And you can put it on a stand with a clip and just have your assistant hoist it up over their head.
So everyone has an assistant. Your mom?
Absolutely. Or just get someone on the street. Hey, buddy, come over here for a minute. Help us with this photograph. Oh, sure, I'll do that for you.
I'll give you some candy.
Right, and just hang it over their head. And,
Yeah.
and
It
get
makes
that-
a world of a difference.
Yeah, it makes all the difference. Absolutely. So you get rid of the shadows around under the chin, and get rid of the shadows around the eyes, and they're not squinting.
Well, it kind of goes back to some of our scenarios where we talk about equipment, like what you should always have on you if you're shooting. Like if you're going out doing a shoot, always have a reflector on you. And they're so you can make your own, or I would recommend just buying some, because they come up in these really convenient fold up designs. Like he's holding one that how big is that? Is that a yard wide? What's the radius on
It
that?
covers this whole table, so I'd say it's 4 inches across.
Okay.
Almost 4 feet.
So
And it's a 5-in-1. So you have 2 sides, then you unzip it in a
Oh, so there's like
take it
gold.
out.
There's gold and
Right.
bronze and all that good stuff.
right. And
That's cool.
for different skin
Where's the
tones.
black? So you can just
And black is here too. So
yeah, these are great. How much did that one run you?
that's $26.
I mean, that's perfect.
It's just
And one
perfect.
person can hold it. And actually, that's always one of my favorite parts when I'm part of a photography shoot is you watch the PA try to hold these things, and they're trying their hardest like to hold it still. And after about 10 minutes, because I've been there when you're holding it above your head, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna shoot these pictures. Like, what's going on?" Because no one ever tells you to put it down, because you're not supposed to.
Right.
And after about 10 minutes, it gets pretty heavy, and it's always fun to watch that.
And the disadvantage is if you take this outside and the wind is blowing
that's
really
what I'm talking
hard.
about.
Yeah, I mean, this will go down the street, and it's pretty embarrassing if you have a client and this thing and you're chasing it down the street. It's really embarrassing.
Well, that's why you have your assistant to go chase it down. the
That's
street.
right. Even with an assistant, it's embarrassing. So you have this kind of translucent type approach here. Then you have black, and then you have the gold, and then you have solid white, and then you have your reflector, which is awesome to put underneath a person in the chin area and reflect the light up in their face, which can really help boost the light, or reflect it on the left side if you have a softbox on the right, and save from having to buy another light and just simplifying. But again, you're going to need an assistant to do that, preferably.
Yeah, what I would recommend people doing if you are looking to get one of these reflectors, visit Adorama, because they have a cool little area called Studio and Lighting. And a lot of things we're going to be talking about this month is kind of, you can find it on the website at adorama.com. Their tagline is more than a camera store, but that's where they sell a lot of equipment we're going to be discussing, because especially these reflectors, like I've seen people make their own reflectors out of cardboard and foil, and then that's a little too much, so they add like wax paper and all that kind of stuff. But really, just go ahead and spend the $26.
Yeah.
And they're so inexpensive.
It'll last forever.
And well, not really if they're rolling down the street.
No, that's true. But it'll probably end up in your closet. Use it.
Well,
one
no,
time.
you always leave it in your car.
That's true.
Always, I'm telling you, when you're shooting, you always gotta have this. This is one of those few things you should always have on you if you're shooting outside or inside. It doesn't matter. Like that thing, you can use it for anything. You can use the black one to block the sun or block the light.
You can use it to serve pizza.
I mean, yeah. But there's so many different sizes. I would say 4 feet. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that should be probably like number one we're gonna build the studio. That's what we're doing for this month. We're gonna start building the ultimate studio for portrait photography, and I would say reflectors are part of it. You probably only really need 2, and I've seen people use 3. If you have 3, this is if you have assistants though, because always remember that you buy them, how many people are going to be helping you.
Right, and
So
it's always. I encourage you to actually put the reflector here because it'll reflect the light up.
So
really good.
Some people aren't able to see this, so you're talking about put it below.
Right, just put it right chest high. So even now I'm feeling, picking up a reflection.
Yeah, you look
just from the light here in the room.
You look kind of like you're looking into a pool,
into water,
into a pool with the moon above you.
Filling.
And always remember you're reflecting light. So if you're outside doing this, you're pretty much cooking the person.
Yeah,
so,
it can be very annoying, so you have to be careful. You'll get them hostile against you. They'll start throwing rocks at you.
We'll talk about how to take care of personal people. Like when we get that guy from the DMV in here, or from the police department, talking about how to take care of the product, or the model, or the inmate, or whatever they call
Our
them.
objective is not to incarcerate people on this show.
Well, that's important to talk about. To me, it is. But yeah, no.
You're the only one that wants to talk about
that. I know. I want to talk about it all day. Why? Because it's funny to me. I think you that should be part of people's graduation. They gotta go hang out at the DMV and volunteer to take pictures for DMV.
The 200,000 listeners we have are turning us off.
No, they're not. They're probably laughing They're probably laughing. Well, because you ask any photographer, like, hey, did you ever spend some time at the local county jail? Whoa, about doing what? Oh no, I'm not talking about being in jail. I'm talking about taking photos for the mugshots, and they probably would never thought of that.
Yeah, because it's like boring.
Yeah. Well, what about CSI?
I don't watch CSI.
I'm just talking. No, not the show. I meant like the normal crime scene investigate. I mean, they do take photos of the crime scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But we'll talk about some. Man, that's another cool
boring,
show.
Dude.
That is not boring. How do you shoot dead bodies?
Oh.
That's important. That's important to talk about.
I don't like blood. I don't want to do blood.
Well, you don't have to.
Let's talk about models.
You want to talk about the fun side. I'm talking about the real side. Those are models.
Like grit. You like
those are models. They're just dead. Oh man, imagine taking a shot of the brain.
But get into forensics. I mean, if you want to do that.
Well, because there's also some portrait photography is like still life. Like imagine being you ever watch the documentaries about how they make like McDonald's fast food menus?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's portrait photography.
Mm-hmm.
Is that gross?
No.
Okay, good.
Take syringes and squirt ketchup
where the lighting goes, how to get the reflection on the grease, like fake grease on the bacon.
Show which part of the burger has the most carcinogens in it.
Yeah.
What's going to kill you faster and all that.
Yeah, Tom doesn't like that kind of food.
I'm building greenhouse, dude.
I'm
going all the way. I'm building a 20 by 24-foot greenhouse.
What we should do,
12-foot
if you're by a computer, audience, please type in La Palmas. I think it's La Palmas. La Palma. It's a taco joint around the corner from here. La Palma. We went there. Tom and I went there, and if you go to their images, they have horrible images of their tacos, but they're street tacos. So it's not. I mean,
you're still alive, so
I thought it was delicious, but I mean, we can talk about personally why I don't like the place.
Right.
But maybe we can offer to do some photo shoots for their tacos.
Is it maybe because you were like held up at knife point there once? Or
No,
is
it's
that-
because they don't have chips
Oh.
or beans or any side item. They literally have 6 tacos,
Oh, okay.
different types. That's all they serve. I don't even think they have a refrigerator.
Well,
I think they're just trying to get rid of all the meat that day. They're
Got
like,
that
yeah, get it out. Because who doesn't have chips and
don't have to worry
salsa
about
or
maggots
queso? Who
on
doesn't
it.
have? They only have cheese.
See, nobody's gonna go now.
Because I really don't think they have a refrigerator to
the
hold all
only
that.
gringo there. You're the only gringo.
Oh, the tacos are really good,
Yeah,
but
and your dad liked them. So.
I mean, but no, if you go, and that's one thing that's funny about food. There's so many cool portrait ideas. I want somebody. If you're listening, email us, or go to our Facebook. Talk about what portrait things fascinate you. Because I like the weird things. I mean, I imagine, another portrait would be doing claymation, like how they did The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's photography. That's portrait photography. That's to the extreme, because they have to control every scene. That's so cool. And we can talk about that too. But Tom doesn't want. He wants to talk about the models.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that because nobody's gonna buy that. I'm trying to market my work and make a living, and you want to have fun.
Oh, it's awful.
Fun is
Awful.
off the board. We want to make money.
What do you do?
Honey.
What are you doing on Friday night? I'm taking pictures of prisoners.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be great.
Can I have an album of your prisoners?
Well, no, I think that would be a really funny.
I'll put it on my coffee table.
I think that'd be really funny. It's like, hey, can we get a portfolio of your photos, Dick? Yeah, and it's like page 42. It's like DMV shots. they're like, who are these people? You don't think that would be good?
No, really
Why are you
don't.
against that kind of stuff?
Oh, well, what application can you possibly have to take that to a wedding?
It lets people know that you volunteer and you care about the community. Because you're trying to make sure you have good photos of these people, so if you see them in public, imagine being the FBI most wanted people.
They want to be identified. You really think they want to be identified?
You know what? As a photographer, if someone guy came up to me and showed me a photo of here's the top 10 FBI most wanted. I took 8 of those photos. I'd be like, wow, really?
You're the only one that would care. Everybody else would go. So I'm out of here, dude. It's time for lunch.
It's time for lunch. We're going to the Palmas. Those tacos look good.
Now, if you show them that picture of the Grand
La Palmas.
Tetons or a picture of some dude's
A
mugshot,
swimsuit edition, I get it.
Who do you think they're going to choose first? What photo?
Well, I think chicks would take it too. They will. But I take pictures of
That's
prisoners.
why you're so alone, Dick. So alone.
You're not even funny. You know what? We're probably gonna have to take a break because you don't want to talk about what I want to talk about. That's why. You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. This is a great day for Aperture and Shutter Speed. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. We're on at 3 o'clock every day. We still got a lot to go. We were late, so we got about 15 minutes more. So if you want to hang out, just stay tuned.
And we might
enjoy
talk about something you want to hear about. I hope. I hope we do something worthwhile.
Run, 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 run away. Run, 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 run away.
Since the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo awarded its first scholarship, we have sent nearly 15,000 students to college on show scholarships. Just this year, 2,000 students are attending more than 100 Texas colleges and universities on show scholarships worth nearly $30 million. Combined with the junior market auction money, livestock and horse show premiums and prizes, cat scramble awards, school art auction money, judge and contest prizes, grants to universities, and funds to cultural, community, and civic organizations, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo has committed more than $350 million to youth and education throughout Texas. Learn more at rodeohouston.com.
Hi, I'm Joyce with the Corner Pub in downtown Conroe. We're located at the corner of Simonton and North Main, just across the street from the courthouse. The week starts off Monday with open mic hosted by Alan, and Tuesday nights open mic hosted by Jeremy Bankhead. And on Thursday evening, McFarland Jams. There's nightly drink specials available every night, all night. And don't forget, live entertainment every weekend. To see a full list of events, visit our website at thecornerpubinconroe.com. So come join us at the Corner Pub, where the deli is open late.
The Conroe Art League is a nonprofit entity promoting the visual arts in Montgomery County. They've evolved over the last 49 years into one of the premier artist groups in the greater Houston area. The Conroe Art League is now permanently housed in the 100-year-old recently remodeled Madeley building in historic downtown Conroe. Exhibits of local artists, sculptors, and painters are changed periodically in the downstairs gallery with admission free to the public. Art classes and demonstrations in a variety of media are provided in the upstairs studios. The mission of the Conroe Art League is to encourage artistic development and cultivate an appreciation of the visual arts through education, exhibitions, and community outreach. For more information, call area code 936-756-9572 or visit their website at www.conroeartleague.com.
As I walk along, I wonder what went wrong with our love.
What went wrong? TRMorePhotos.com.
What went wrong is you're talking about mugshots.
Really interesting portrait photography. Welcome to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're here every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Today, 3:15. Sorry.
For someone who's been up since 3 o'clock this morning, you sure have a lot of energy. I thought you were going to calm down.
I told you
today.
when we start talking about something that excites me, like visiting jail.
Oh, yeah.
Visiting jail has always intrigued me. Okay.
Well, all you have to do is
The
get drunk
DMV,
and be arrested.
the DMV
It
always
costs
interests me.
about $16,000 to get out of it, but you'll know.
Well, yeah.
You'll get your
No, it'd be
own-
a $16,000 photo. That's
Yeah.
what it'd be.
Awesome.
See, you're in
Is
the wrong
that
business.
is that
You're in the wrong
practical?
business. You need to go take
No, I'm
photos.
talking about lawyers and getting out of jail. And
I mean, if it's
posting
about
bonds.
the money, you got to figure out how to capitalize on the mugshot business.
Okay.
I'm telling you, a guy.
This is a day to be totally impractical.
If a guy came up to you and said, "I take 8 of the top 10 most wanted FBI pictures," would you not be interested?
No,
Would you not be
I'd say,
impressed?
That's really boring, dude. I
that's
wish you well.
Well, what happens if I came up to you and I'm like, I shot all of 2008's McDonald's fast food menu items? Would that interest you?
If you were making, $100,000 a year, I'd say let's
So
talk.
you're about show me the money and then we'll talk.
Not just.
Because like,
but,
what happens?
I mean, it's pretty boring.
What happens if I came up to you and I'm like, oh, I shot 9 months out of the 12 months of Playboy, whatever the low is. I know there's a low end to Playboy. There has to be. What's like Hustler? Or is that
I
like
don't
what's
know.
like the low
I
end of
don't buy that
Playboy
stuff.
of nudie stuff?
No, I don't
Say
do
that's
that.
your job because that's portrait photography,
Right.
And we can talk about that if you want. I'm interested. If you know anybody, if anyone listening knows anybody in that industry, I would like to. I'd love. I bet he has some mugshot stories, and but yeah. So
I have no mugshot stories.
these people.
There's a cop right there. She just walked by the door. Why don't you get her to arrest you? Just walk up to her
I'm
and just
pretty
like
sure- no,
smack her on top of the head, and she will take you
936-647-3776. You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're talking about portrait photography this month. This is a little wild day because we're kind of introducing the whole idea of what portrait photography really is. And I guess what I'm going to take is for 2 minutes. To me, portrait photography is about control. It really teaches you as a photographer how to control a scenario and really get the product you want because you have all the time in the world to do it.
Because Dick is out of control today.
Well, no. But so what I always encourage people when they want to know, like, how do I shoot photos, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's always about experience, how to teach yourself and understand how your camera works. Well, for portrait photography, it's a lot of fun. And I was telling Tom, it's always nice to start with something simple, like look around when you go out into public, like at billboards, go to the grocery store, go to really wherever there's advertisements being thrown in your face that are pictures. So you can see like every billboard you see that's not, like a golf course or, a Viagra pill. Actually, Viagra pill, yeah, those are portraits. They took those in a studio, and especially food. Food's always interesting because it's always fake. Every photo you see of food is always fake because, everyone complains, oh, when I order my hamburger, it doesn't look like that in the photo. Well, they took their time to make it look like that.
You need to define fake. You mean it's plastic burgers?
Well, no, it's not. If you want to get defined into it,
styrofoam burgers.
no, it's prepared.
Of
and
course.
and I guarantee you, all the food you see on those menu items, you couldn't eat. You literally couldn't eat because I know for sure on the McDonald's ones they don't cook them. They literally just fry the top of them, make them brown, and then they paint the edges. That's awesome. But it's for the photo. It's the control. I mean, imagine why don't they actually try to cook one just to try to cook one, make it good? Because I've seen go to Red Brick. Those are pretty burgers. They wouldn't have to make a fake burger.
You ought to start dating birds.
And well, I'm trying to. You're really hard to talk to. You just don't care. Don't care about what interests me, and it's just relationships getting hard. TR Moore, photos.com, and but no, like I said, it's about control. So if you're dealing with a person, you're dealing with a product, you're dealing with I mean, that's pretty much the only photography, or portrait photography, is product or person. It's about control. So just think about how you can get to your ultimate goal of that picture you want using the control you have, because you have a lot more control than most people do when they're shooting nature. Nature's probably the craziest because you have no control. You don't know what's going to happen. But portrait, you do. You have like ultimate control.
Yeah, and get yourself a little box. I mean, you can just go down to Hobby Lobby and buy some white boards, and you can construct a box, and you can shoot in that box. It costs you almost nothing.
Yeah.
And
put products in there. Yeah, I mean,
just put your products in there and makes it look like it's floating in midair. It's very clean. It looks really beautiful, and you can configure it however you want. Be careful of your edges where you put your box together, because it's going to create shadows. So there's ways you can angle the food so it doesn't cast or your camera, so you don't pick up, where you put the box together. You don't want that. So that's really important. With food photography, white is a very popular color because it's clean, it looks wholesome, and you can use other types, but white is very popular. And just make sure your background is blurred so that you don't pick up any junk.
What's also nice about white is you can take out the background really easily. So when you're shooting something,
how do you take out the background? What do you do to take out the background?
We can talk about that later, because there's different techniques, especially in Photoshop. I think there's even a background replacement tool.
How about just in the camera itself, so you don't have to worry about Photoshop?
How do you get rid of the background?
Yeah, what do you do to blur the background?
Well, you do your focus.
Well, no, it's your aperture, right?
Yeah.
Just go. If you're 4.0, just select 4.0 and your background. If you're 2.8, especially 1.4, I don't even see the point of a 1.4 myself, because nothing is in focus when you go down that low. But 4.0, and everything in the background just goes into a blur, and your subject is sharp. So make sure everything is sharp if you're doing food. Or you can just focus, if it's a bowl of fruit, on just one item and have everything else blur out. It's just your call. It's your artistic expression and what you want to bring out. But make sure something is in focus, because a photograph that is not in focus is a worthless photograph, unless you are doing something very specific and you're looking to create just a blurry shot.
So like mug shots.
Yeah, mugshots should all be blurry.
Though I always see blurry mugshots. Somebody needs to. Yes.
Back to mugshots.
I'm telling you, we discovered this whole new world.
I hope this is the last show on this.
No, because it's portrait photography. How are you so against that? Well, we're gonna talk to models. Don't worry, that's cool. How to reflect, light off of men's breasts. I mean, you can deal with that. I'm talking about mugshots. That's what I'm talking about. How do you prop somebody up who keeps falling over? That's a good question to ask.
Stick a gun in their rib.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, if you're a cop, I mean, or take.
You think they'll be allowed to do that, Tom?
Yeah, 44 Magnum in their rib. Yeah, that gets their attention.
Jeez,
that's probably not very practical. I wouldn't. That's probably not a good idea.
But I guess we're gonna be closing up this show. We're talking about portraits, so make sure to stay tuned next week. I think we're gonna have a scenario ready for we got some funny scenarios. I already got some dreaming up. But Tom,
are you gonna enlighten me before you drop it on my head?
I'm just gonna.
You're just gonna let me have it.
Oh, but like I said today,
I've been speechless this whole time because I don't know what to say about.
No, he's just not any fun.
I'm a lot of fun.
But
call me
if there's anything. If there's anything I want the audience to walk away with, is if you don't already have a reflector, just get one.
Get a reflector.
Just get a reflector. There's so many deals out there. Adorama's a great place to start because they have so much. They have a lot of variety, and it's always good to see what people are buying, and the variety is always nice.
See, look at this. See the reflection? Check that out. I don't know what that's doing because
See, people can't see you because we're on the radio. TR More
you're not
Photos.com.
recording this.
I'm recording it, but they're not going to see that right now.
Oh, okay.
Working with you is tough, man.
I'm being demanding
It's
today.
so demanding. But yeah, so make sure to stay tuned next Wednesday at 3 p.m. with trmorephotos.com and I. We're going to continue our conversation about portrait photography. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to talk about home remedies for setting up the studio.
That's a good topic.
We kind of touched on it a little bit, but we're actually going to bring out the tools, talk about where to buy them, and then how you can combine professional equipment with homemade equipment, because you'll be surprised at what kind of photos you can take with just a little bit of prep work.
What you can do with just your cell phone.
Yeah.
What amazing photos you can get if you have your lighting right. You could hardly tell the difference between a high-dollar camera and $200 cell phone. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But thank you so much for listening. You can catch us on YouTube on our archives. Just look up Lone Star Internet Radio. Subscribe to the channel. And then look up our playlist, Aperture and Shutter Speed. And if Angela's listening, I enjoyed your photos from yesterday. They were good. I like how I'm waving. Now I've got Tom on my mind. I'm waving. No one can see that. But but yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next Wednesday at 3 p.m. on Aperture and Shutter Speed.
Why? She ran away, and I wonder where she was.
Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Retro Saturdays. I wanted to invite you to visit the Lone Star Studios here in downtown Conroe, Texas. We're all volunteers here, and we need your help in serving the Montgomery County area. Radio media is a fun field to be in. Lone Star Internet Radio serves Montgomery County with news, current events, local programming, and of course, music. If you are interested in volunteering and sharing your talents in media, go to irlonestar.com and let us hear from you. Lone Star Internet Radio, serving Montgomery County from the heart of downtown Conroe.